Hey guys, so basically I have a lot to cover with you guys, and I would appreciate it if you took some time and kind of listened to what I have to say. So to start it off, basically since the beginning of this channel, I never really made a video about how the channel became and the history of it. And since I kind of made a poorly explained video about the situation with the channel and the FNAF stuff, I figured I'd just go ahead and make a video that has a script. And yes, a script because I'm a scrub, and I did write that, so see? So I'll pretty much go from the beginning, which was about 4 years ago. It's really hard to believe that I've been doing YouTube related stuff for 4 years. But I've always considered it to be a hobby of mine, and I'll be doing it basically as long as I can, or as long as I want. But anyways, I was 16 at the time and still in high school. I believe I was a junior at the time, and I had a couple friends that live streamed at the time. And I would tell them about like my interest in doing YouTube related stuff, and they were kind of dicks, and they kind of challenged me and said I would not be able to make about 100 subscribers by the time we left high school. But I've always been a fan of YouTube since the beginning. I mean, I remember when I was younger and I'd come home and I'd watch Haxor Nova and the Yogscast and a bunch of crazy YouTubers. But I never thought that I was the type of person that would try something like this, because I just didn't have the personality for it, and I just seemed pessimistic. When they said that, I kind of said screw it. It kind of gave me the jump I needed to try something different. But basically, I didn't know really where to start. When I got onto YouTube, I thought of a lot of names, and most of them revolved around Hitman because that was my favorite game at the time, and it still is. But it just didn't work out too well with the content I was creating, so I already had a variation of my name, and I really loved the motto "Shit Happens" because that was something I used a lot. And because it's game related, I kind of mashed them both together, and it became Gaming Happens. And I stuck with it because it was pretty catchy and it was easy to remember. And as usual with most starter YouTubers, I started out with the basic stuff like Fraps, Audacity, and a Blue Yeti. And I can't believe I convinced her to allow me to get that microphone, because at the time, that was over $100, and that was super expensive for me at the time. But I ended up getting it. It was a nice mic for the most part. I did have issues with it, and I did have to replace it, but I ended up going with the AT2035 later on down the line, which is the mic I'm using right now to record this. But I could sit here for hours and tell about all these crazy things that I started out with and all that, but I'll basically just sum it up for you guys and say, I can't believe you guys were able to deal with me back then. Because a lot of my videos, they were pretty bad, I must admit. I sounded so depressed. I mean, I'll chalk that up basically to the fact I was still in high school. I was very tired, which I still am. And you guys showed so much love to it, and I couldn't believe it. Like, and I still look at some of my early 2016 videos, and I'm like, what the fuck? How do I sound so down? And like I said, I personally think it's because I'm tired most of the time. I'm still tired. I work a lot of hours. But I try my best to try to stay hyped throughout the videos, because it is kind of boring to listen to someone like this and listen to them talk for 16 minutes like this. Yeah, you know what I mean. So pretty much everything was steady. I was trying my hardest to compete with people and get noticed, because at the time, I didn't start off like I did with my very first channel. And it was super hard to do stuff, because it's probably super hard now because everyone does game related stuff, but back then it was hard. It was super easy though back when I made the first one, but I only did combat arm related stuff and it was reviews. But I didn't talk back then because I didn't like the way I sounded. I still don't, but I still talk because I want to keep doing things on YouTube until I no longer can do it. So pretty much, things ended up going downhill very late 2014 into early 2015. That was basically the time where I discovered Source Filmmaker, and I thought it would be a really cool idea to turn my ideas into 3D animations. And the reason why I say that specific timeline is because that's also when FNAF came out. And it sounds silly, but the very first game I actually liked because there was lore behind it, and I loved to watch reactions to the game. And I wanted to make animations off that idea. So when I started seeing people port models into Gmod, I thought, well, maybe it's possible to port these models into Source Filmmaker. It's the same concept, basically, and Gmod is actually a little bit harder to port things in than Source Filmmaker. So I managed to get them in. I was one of the very few people to actually get these working at the time, and I figured, well, I'll show these off, see if people are interested in them and the ideas I have. So I made a quick little video testing out the animatronics. It was Freddy. It was a really stupid video, but it was something I showed, and I can't believe to this point, it has over 300,000 views. That is ridiculous. But people loved it, and my interest basically grew with the FNAF community because they wanted more. So, throughout the time I was looking up online, I saw FNAF comic, and I loved it. It was a funny comic. So, basically, I went in Source Filmmaker, I made a quick video about it, and people went nuts over it. And it went to Reddit and back, and it got very popular. It's up to about like 1.7 million views, which again, is ridiculous. And as time went on, people wanted more, and they asked for a second part. And I thought, well, sure, I'll try something new. And so I based off a small comic and branched it off to my own idea. And it wasn't too hard on the second video because it just went on from the first. And people loved it again. That one is up to about 2.2 million views with like 900 comments. Again, that is ridiculous. And as the story usually goes, as most people know, again, they wanted a third one. And this time I had a really hard time with it because I didn't really expect to keep going with the series. I didn't really have too many ideas at the time. It was very hard for me to do it. So I made a couple update videos, and I made an Easter video, which I'm actually still kind of proud about because it was funny as shit to me. And finally, the third one got released. But the issue with this is the fact that when I made the third one, the second game was coming out. And what I would like to call the toxic part of the community that decided to rear its ugly head, which is the roleplay community in Five Nights at Freddy's. And why I say it's so bad is because these roleplay accounts would spam my comment section and they would subscribe to the channel, and you'd think that would be a good thing. You'd be getting subscribers, you'd be getting views, and you'd be getting comments and interaction. That was the best part, and I thought it was the best part too. Until later on, and I'll explain that because it affected a lot of bigger channels. And when these bigger channels got hit with the same issue, they ended up putting a stop to this. And no, I don't mean that they were being douches about it. I literally mean that they would get like 2,000 plus comments in a string of comments of just roleplay accounts going back and forth. And what you don't understand is when you get a notification, it blows up your little bell in the corner. And they weren't technically legit comments either. It was weird stuff like a roleplay account like Freddy. He would come on and be like, Freddy rolls a 9 and does major damage to Foxy, and then the other roleplay account, Foxy, comes on and does something weird. It was a very strange part. And at first, I didn't really mind it. I didn't put a stop to it like they did, till I realized I was getting the same situation and I couldn't take it anymore, so I did in fact put a halt to it. So with those people out of the way, then I got the constant people asking me on the channel and on the video, would you make a part 4? And I kept having to tell them no, because I didn't want to continue the series. It was kind of dead at the point. Not a lot of people, that only hit about 700,000, the series was dying. And I really had no idea what to make, because the third one was super hard to make, and I tried my best to give them what they wanted in that video. So after that was done, I basically just went on with my Let's Play stuff. Everything calmed down, I still have my views, I still have my subscribers. Everything seemed alright, until, basically, like I said, things started going downhill. Because in the first month of me doing that video, I gained 3.4 thousand subscribers, and in the next month I gained 1.4 thousand subscribers. And you can understand why this is going to be an issue. And this is why I basically have over 13,000 subscribers. And in a way I hate it, And I know I sound like a dick saying that, but the reason why is because I don't feel like I earned it. Because it's just a bunch of roleplay accounts that are now inactive on my account, which is why the ratio is so off. And that's why I have 13,000 and I'm only getting 10 to 30 views per video. And if I knew what I did now, I don't really know if I would do it or not, because it really has hurt the channel. I can't really get developers to allow me access to games anymore. No one that I branched out to wants to collab with me, which is a big thing nowadays if people don't know that. It is a great way to get exposure. And when I go into games and people see I have a YouTube channel, they tend to be asshats about it. And when I say that, I mean, they will be like, oh, what a loser, he's sub-botted. And of course, with people like that, they tend to try to wrangle everyone in an ear's distance and try to egg it on. And it gets really annoying because they don't even want to listen to an explanation. They only believe what they want. So basically, I've been thinking a lot about this, and this could be one of the very last episodes I do on here. And I don't mean I'm quitting because I've always wanted to do YouTube. I just mean that I only really have 3 options here. And basically, it's either I drop this channel, go to a new one fresh, and tell all the active subscribers to go there because that's where I'll be going to make this an archive, or I can do a YouTube paid ad and promote the channel and hopefully revive it from doing that. Or the third option, which is just make a different channel based on something else, which I don't really think I want to do. But honestly, I don't really know what my plan of action would be. I think I would first do an ad, see if it helps. If not, then go to a new channel. Because at this point, I'm trying to help out the channel as best as I can. I made those FNAF videos privated, so no one can see them. And it sounds bad, but I just don't feel like they are a part of me anymore, and I don't feel good about them, and they're not helping out the channel whatsoever. So I don't really have any plans on unprivating them unless I need to for some odd reason. But that's pretty much it for now. That's all the history I really have at this point that I can remember. Thank you guys so much if you made it to the end of this little chat. You're the true MVP in this situation, and maybe you guys understand a little bit more about what's going on. Because I know I can talk my head off like all day long about things. You can ask anyone about that. And so, yeah, hopefully things go well. Maybe I'll make another video in the future about a little bit more about it, and then a little bit more about the history of what happened. But for now, thank you guys a lot. I mean, I truly mean it a lot for listening if you made it down to this section. And I'll basically see you guys in whatever else I make. So yeah, see you guys until the next episode.